What if I told you that this billionaire spends $4.8 million on her 2 bodyguards annually? That's enough cash to stack $100 bills as tall as a 4-story building. But this trillionaire is protected by 100,000 elite bodyguards, spy drones, nuclear missiles, and you'll never guess how much North Korea pays for all that. So today, we are going to compare how billionaires stay safe and how trillionaires stay untouchable. Up first, Mukesh Ambani, the richest man in Asia, has some of the craziest bodyguards you've ever seen and has survived more attacks than you can even imagine. Right now, this dude's sitting on $117.2 billion. That's more than Jay-Z, Kim Kardashian, Taylor Swift, LeBron James, Rihanna, and Kanye combined. In fact, it's 11 times their total net worth. I mean, he could buy 57 Kanyes and still have change for a skyscraper. So what do you do when you're that rich? You build Antilia, a 27-story private skyscraper in Mumbai, worth over $2 billion. You raise the richest kids in India, but none of that matters if you can't protect yourself. February 25th, 2021. Things got real. A Mahindra Scorpio packed with 20 sticks of gelatin explosives was found parked suspiciously near his home. Someone wanted to blow a $100 billion hole in India's economy. Turns out, it was traced back to a rogue police officer with political motives. Ambani was pissed, and he did not play around. He upgraded security at Antilia with panic rooms, biometric access controls, anti-drone tech, reinforced steel blast-proof architecture, and ex-intelligence and military operatives stationed on site. And still, he got death threats. Then the Indian government stepped in. They granted him Z+ security, the highest level possible, for him and his family. We're talking over 55 elite officers, including NSG commandos trained in counter-terrorism, bulletproof convoys, drone jammers, snipers on rooftops, and yes, he foots the $2.5 million security bill himself. When the Ambanis roll up, you're not just looking at wealth, you're watching the closest thing to a civilian head of state convoy. For most of us, Mukesh Ambani's net worth is almost incomprehensible. But back in the US, someone else quietly crossed that same threshold in 2018. And just like Ambani, he doesn't take chances when it comes to personal safety. I'm talking about Jeff Bezos. You know, when you've got $236.8 billion in the bank, people don't just envy you. You become a walking target. That's why his bodyguards don't play games. These guys are trained, wired, and ready. But there is one small problem. They weren't prepared to be breached by a trillionaire. Here's what went down. When Jeff's private texts with Lauren Sanchez got leaked, he didn't call IT. He handed a blank check to Gavin DeBecker, the real-life Liam Neeson of personal security, and said, "Find out who the hell did this." It took a minute, but the investigation came back with something wild. Bezos' team concluded with high confidence that Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, hacked his phone. Why? Possibly because the Washington Post, which Bezos owns, kept digging into the Saudi regime's role in the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And it wasn't just political. The leak tore apart Bezos' marriage. His wife left, the media had a field day. And Bezos, he was pissed. But when you're a billionaire tech bro, there's only so much you can do. So he made a vow, never again. From that moment, he went full fortress mode. His Seattle office, outfitted with $180,000 worth of bulletproof panels, not the kind that stops a burglar. Fiberglass strong enough to eat rounds from a military-grade assault rifle. This man could survive a war zone while answering Slack messages. He didn't stop there. Amazon now spends $1.6 million a year on his personal security. We're talking armored SUVs, run-flat tires, and armed guards posted 24/7 at every one of his homes. And when Bezos showed up to his cameo in Star Trek Beyond, Chris Pine said he arrived like a scene out of Fast and Furious. Billionaire drift. 9 bodyguards, 3 limos, the whole thing. Oh, and the wildest detail? Some of his bodyguards wear fake arms. Why? Because under those plastic limbs are either hidden weapons or hands locked and loaded, ready to go full John Wick in a heartbeat. Now, Jeff can have a good laugh.
Of all the cards you could have,
Wait a minute.
Now, billionaires hire personal security, but trillionaires have a much greater need than that. And some of them are straight up evil. You see, no individual today has a personal net worth of $1 trillion. But certain families and regimes do control that kind of wealth. Take, for example, the House of Saud, the Saudi royal family, with an estimated combined net worth of $1.4 trillion, making them the wealthiest family on Earth. And when you have that kind of money and power, security becomes a full-blown military operation. Officially, the Saudi royals are protected by the Royal Guard Regiment, an elite force drawn from tribes loyal to the monarchy. These soldiers number in the thousands. They're trained in close-quarters combat, counter-sniper operations, advanced weapons handling, and escape and evasion tactics. They handle the formal stuff, parades, motorcades, and palace defense. But Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman doesn't stop at formal protection. He doesn't just want to be safe, he wants total control. And that means going to extreme lengths to eliminate any threat, whether it's radicals in the streets, critical journalists, or even rival princes within his own family. So he created a secretive, off-the-books bodyguard force, Al-Saif al-Ajrab, the Lethal Sword. These are the men who led the infamous Ritz-Carlton Purge in 2017, where dozens of princes were arrested and held inside a five-star hotel. But this wasn't a vacation. It was basically a prison. They weren't released until they gifted MBS billions in assets. A silent shakedown, backed by elite operatives. Above them is an even darker team, Tiger Squad. Their job is to eliminate enemies of the regime, anywhere in the world. The most chilling case? Jamal Khashoggi. In 2018, a 15-man Tiger Squad flew to Istanbul. They entered the Saudi consulate, ambushed, murdered, and dismembered the dissident journalist. Another target, Saad al-Jabri, a former top intelligence official, who fled to Canada after spilling some tea. Tiger Squad tracked him there too. But Canadian authorities intercepted the hit squad just in time. He lived, but it proved one thing. You can run, you can hide, but if you're on the list, they will come. But MBS isn't untouchable either. In 2017, just months after becoming crown prince, gunfire erupted outside a royal palace in Jeddah. A lone gunman drove up and killed 2 royal guards before being taken down. There are whispers of other close calls. Some say he's even gone into hiding after internal threats. So, how does he travel? The crown prince, being conscious of the threats to his life, pulls up like a head of state in a war zone. We're talking a Mercedes-Maybach S600 Pullman Guard or a BMW 7 Series high security, armored convoys of Toyota Land Cruisers equipped with signal jammers, and occasionally flanked by US and European military vehicles on foreign trips. His vehicles come with level B7 plus armor, resistant to armor-piercing rounds, run-flat tires, and gas mask-compatible air systems in case of a chemical attack. Now, let's talk about President Putin. But first, does it make sense to call Putin a trillionaire? Hell yeah. First up, the guy controls over $1 trillion in state-owned assets. We're talking Gazprom, worth over $300 billion. Rosneft, around $56 billion. Russian Railways, VTB Bank, and a bunch of other economic beasts. But even more impressive, he picks who runs them, who profits, and who becomes a billionaire. Basically, Putin is what Trump wishes he was. But Putin's smart. He doesn't put his name on everything. Instead, he installs loyal oligarchs as owners. And guess what? These friends are all billionaires. Shocking, right? Now, let's talk about how a man who moves trillions in shadow money protects himself. This is the same guy who built a $1 billion secret palace tucked inside a no-fly zone, featuring underground tunnels, a hidden bunker, 15-inch thick concrete walls, and bomb-proofing. Yeah, when it comes to security, Putin does not play. His personal protection? The Federal Protective Service, FSO? Think US Secret Service, but on steroids. We're talking over 50,000 elite operatives, armed guards, cybersecurity experts, engineers, surveillance teams, and counterintelligence pros. They report directly to Putin, and their operations are so secret that parts of their budget are classified. And here's the kicker. Putin drops $1.2 to $2 billion a year just on this machine. That's more than the combined net worth of Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole. Throw in Dwayne Johnson and Justin Bieber, and it's still not enough to match his annual security bill. Oh, and just in case you thought you could get clever, Putin has body doubles trained to copy his walk, voice, and mannerisms. So even if you think you're taking out Putin, you're not. That's God-level personal protection. At the core, a hand-picked inner ring of 6 to 8 ex-Spetsnaz operatives, always within arm's reach. Experts in counter-sniper operations, combat driving, multilingual deception, de-escalation, and hand-to-hand combat. Beyond that, another 30 to 50 armed officers guard the perimeter, scan the crowd, and intercept threats before they get close. So yeah, you don't become the most untouchable man in Russia without building a personal army. But nothing Nothing compares to the human shield bodyguards of North Korea's supreme leader. Some say a prophet isn't respected in his own land. Forget that. In North Korea, nobody owns the land except Kim Jong Un. He's only 41, but he's surrounded by a fortress of loyalty, fear, and control so tight it makes billionaires look like they're playing security cosplay. Let's start with the big guns. They call it the Supreme Guard Command. And it's not your average security detail. It's a private army of up to 120,000 personnel tasked with one job: keep Kim and his family alive. That's more than the number of soldiers in most small countries. Or to put it differently, they could run 3,428 McDonald's at once and pull in over $27 million a day in Big Mac revenue if they wanted. But these guys don't flip burgers. They move with military precision and surgical speed. And then there's the jogging bodyguards. Yeah, that viral clip? Real! 12 guards sprinting next to Kim's armored Mercedes in perfect sync, like Olympic sprinters in business suits. When the car stops, it's a synchronized performance. One opens the door, one blocks the view, and others scan for threats. And if anyone, even a reporter, gets too close, they instantly form a human wall, like a retractable steel wall. Smooth, fast, deadly serious. Think that's over the top? Let's talk training. Honestly, the training is what separates them from other bodyguards. Recruits are handpicked for loyalty, spotless family records, and zero scars. Just one person per family is allowed to apply. Then it's 2 years of brutal training: taekwondo, sniping, long-distance marches, and tactics that'd make Navy SEALs blink. Their reward? A chance to open a car door and maybe survive Kim's paranoia. Just look at this training footage aired on North Korea's state TV. It feels more like a martial arts movie than real life. These men push their bodies past human limits. One bodyguard lies down, while another smashes a hammer onto a block resting on his chest. Then, without flinching, he leans back onto a bed of nails like it's no big deal. But the craziest part? A shirtless guard clenches his fists, locks his core, and does sit-ups on broken glass. No hesitation. Just raw, disciplined pain tolerance. These bodyguards are fearless, pain-proof warriors, trained to endure the unimaginable, all to protect their leader at any cost. There's also a food taster, of course, a custom luxury train, armored limos, and reportedly Kim loves watching his guards train like it's his version of Netflix. Did I mention that his bodyguards disinfect surfaces before he touches them? Wild. So, while his billionaire namesake in the US is out here breaking the internet with selfies, this guy is breaking records with bodyguards who could probably take out a SWAT team. It's like that meme: 100 men versus a gorilla. But instead of 100 ordinary men, it's a whole squad of elite, martial arts-trained North Korean bodyguards. Who do you think would win? It's probably a lot closer than you'd expect. Along with keeping him safe, Kim's bodyguards make sure his food and personal items are safe too. Similar to Putin, his private toilet is even carried with him during travel, to stop other countries from testing his waste to learn about his health. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Recently, there's been a little problem in the world of billionaire security. Let's just call it the shooting of billionaires. And things got weird in December, when United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed in a brutal public attack. You'd think that would spark universal outrage, but here's the part that made billionaires across the world stop breathing. A poll showed 41% of voters aged 18 to 29 said the murder was acceptable. Nearly half of Gen Z didn't flinch at the thought of a billionaire being executed. So yeah, billionaires are scared. And if you were in their shoes, you probably would be too. Because this isn't just about one high-profile murder. This year alone, French cryptocurrency founder David Balland was kidnapped and had his hand mutilated. Billionaire Steve Sarowitz was attacked in his own home. This isn't random crime anymore, it's targeted. And the response? Billionaires are beefing up their security like never before. Last year, Snap dropped $2.8 million protecting CEO Evan Spiegel. Alphabet, they spent $8.3 million on Sundar Pichai. But the biggest spender? Meta, $24.4 million just to keep Mark Zuckerberg and his family safe. And it's not just about the CEOs. According to a Forbes investigation, more and more billionaires are now focused on protecting their children. Like I earlier mentioned, Mukesh Ambani didn't just hire a bodyguard, he activated Z+ level protection for his entire family. That's the same level of security assigned to India's top political figures. Bulletproof cars, armed escorts, and 24/7 surveillance. Because to him, being rich means nothing if your family isn't safe. The next year, during their On the Run tour, things got even crazier. Blue Ivy was on the road with them, so Jay-Z went full fortress mode. 5 ex-Intel agents, 16 bodyguards, and 2 bomb-proof SUVs, and that set him back by $4 million. On concert days, their security staff swelled to over 500. 50 were just for blocking stage invaders. Another 300 bodyguards patrolled the crowd, and when the tour ended, they still kept 24/7 protection on their $88 million Hollywood mansion, because even their off days needed defense budgets bigger than some countries. And now that you've seen how your favorite power couple protects themselves, stay close, hit the subscribe button, because next, we're diving into how the richest man on earth protects himself. Let's get straight into it. First off, the Tesla boss has one of the coolest security code names. His team of elite bodyguards calls him Voyager. That's right, while you're fumbling through your Starbucks name, Musk is answering to something straight out of Interstellar. When he steps out in public, it's not 1 or 2 guys tailing him, it's 15 to 20, depending on how sketchy the vibe feels. He even brings a personal medic with him everywhere, because when you're building rockets and beefing with world leaders, a paper cut might be the least of your worries. And get this, when Musk goes to the bathroom, he doesn't go alone. Nope, his team sweeps the restroom ahead of him. And if you are worried that your billionaire mentor might be going a little insane, no, he isn't. There's a logical reason behind this. In 2024, Musk said 2 homicidal maniacs tried to kill him in separate incidents during the year. And if that wasn't enough, a man got really pissed at the billionaire that he did the unthinkable. He made a death threat. Who does that? That's so... He got arrested. Then, a Florida man showed up at Tesla's Austin HQ, just 1 day before Elon Musk unveiled the Cybertruck. He wasn't there to buy a car. He was there, according to authorities, to pull off a mass casualty event, and got arrested too. So yeah, a few people don't like Musk's guts. Well, in response, Musk dropped $2.4 million on private security, just to make sure he doesn't get taken out at a product demo. And that's not counting the bulletproof SUVs, run-flat tires, or the 24/7 armed guards watching his house after his address leaked. But who's really guarding him? Not your average mall cop. We're talking ex-military, former Secret Service, and black ops specialists, the kind of people who could disarm a threat before anyone around even realized there was one. Now, let's say you wake up with $1 billion in your bank. But before the celebration, let's talk about how you're going to keep yourself, and that fortune, safe. Hiring a bodyguard on a budget? That'll run you around $120,000 a year. But let's be honest, that's basically a scarecrow in a bulletproof vest. Most US billionaires don't roll with a single tough guy in sunglasses. They build systems. First, they've got round-the-clock digital monitoring, specialists scanning the internet for leaks, threats, and anything that shouldn't be public. That alone can cost $200,000 to $300,000 a year. Then come the security-trained drivers, usually 2 on rotation. That's another $250,000 to $500,000 down. Next, the home setup. Cameras, armed guards, biometric locks. Price tag? Anywhere from $750,000 to over $1 million per year, just to keep the estate sealed tight. And when they travel, local teams are pre-deployed. Cities are mapped, escape routes locked in. But the big leagues? That's the executive protection package. Rotating bodyguards, medics, site sweepers, logistics experts. That kind of paranoia starts at $2 million per year. Individual team members earning $200,000 each. Easy. But sometimes, it's not the billionaire you should worry about. It's the person taking a bullet for them. For example, Norman Oosterbrook was one of the most elite bodyguards in the world. He wasn't just suited for boring billionaires, he also protected A-list celebrities. Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Lady Gaga, Rihanna, even Nelson Mandela. His job was to stay alert 24/7, anticipate threats before they happen, and keep the rich and powerful safe at all costs. But somewhere along the way, that pressure cracked him. Known for being aggressive, he once broke a fan's legs for trying to rush the stage at a Jay-Z concert. Norman was intense, obsessive, and always on edge. Being the best meant living like a human shield, constantly watching, calculating, never switching off. And eventually, it caught up with him. In 2013, things took a dark and bizarre turn. Norman, naked and reportedly high on an unknown substance, broke into a neighbor's house in Miami. A struggle broke out. Police arrived and used a taser to subdue him. Moments later, he was dead. No one saw it coming. A man who spent his life guarding legends, taken down by a spiral he couldn't escape. If this made you think a little harder than you expected, hit subscribe, because we did that intentionally. Now, let's pause on an old money dynasty that's been playing the power game for centuries. The British royal family. The agency in charge of their protection is the SO14, a specialist unit within London's Metropolitan Police. But here's the thing, the royals are so cautious, they won't even reveal how many guards protect them. That alone tells you everything. Still, we know this. In 2023, Their annual security bill crossed $127 million. And for that kind of money, you're getting a lot more than just guys in tall, fuzzy hats. We're talking armed bodyguards, SAS-trained drivers, counter-surveillance experts, and an intelligence web that watches 24/7. For example, King Charles III and Prince William move with elite protection teams that blend right in, but can kill in under a second. These bodyguards have Special Air Service SAS backgrounds. The palaces of these princes are wired with high-grade surveillance, anti-intrusion tech, and rapid response strike teams on standby. Even the lesser royals, Princess Anne, Prince Edward, get coverage during public appearances or overseas trips. And those trips aren't just vacations. Pre-sweeps, evacuation drills, and foreign intel coordination can rack up millions per trip, depending on the threat level. Now, if you made it this far, you've earned a peek at the most extreme trillionaire security team on the planet. You've seen decoys with fake hands, you've seen guards block paparazzi like pros, you've just toured the craziest layers of human protection. From $2.5 million security teams to 100,000-man private armies. If you enjoyed the video, reward the grind, drop a like, and comment below. Who has the best team of bodyguards? But guess what? This rabbit hole goes even deeper. Hit that subscribe button to catch the next video. Thanks for watching.